Only 6 8 seeds have ever beaten a 1 seed in NBA history. The Detroit Pistons are 1 loss away from becoming number 7. And the worst part about it is how after 4 games, this doesn't look random anymore. Detroit won 60 games in the regular season. They were the number 1 seed in the East.
It don't look like a magic fluke no more. It looks like a Detroit choke job now. You see what I'm saying? The first time when they won game 1, I'm like, nothing to really worry about, you know what I'm saying? And I think, didn't Detroit win game 2? And then game 3 came, and I thought that Detroit was going to win game 2 and 3. They won game 2 at home, then they came to Orlando and got their ass spanked. Then the game 4, I'm like, there's no way the Pistons going to win this one. Then I turned it on, and I looked at the end of the game. I mean, ain't no way the Pistons going to lose this one. I'm looking. I'm like, whoa, they getting their ass spanked.
In conference, they had the second best defense in the NBA, forced more turnovers than any team in the league, for most of the season, they appeared to be the team that had taken over the conference way ahead of schedule. But right now, they are down 3 games to 1 to the 8-seeded Orlando Magic. And this is not just a rough series anymore. This is starting to look like a historic collapse. When a 60-win team gets pushed this close to one of the most embarrassing playoff exits ever, the easy thing is to just call them frauds. Fake number 1 seed, regular season team, simply not built for the moment. And honestly, the Pistons have definitely earned some of that conversation now, because you just can't win 60 games, get the number 1 seed, go up against an 8 seed, and then act like this.
Now, only thing I will give them a little bit of the Orlando Magic, not really an 8th seed. I will give them that. But they still shouldn't be up 3-1 against the Pistons, who won 60 games. I think without injuries and all that type of stuff, I think the Magic should probably be like anywhere between like 5, 6, maybe 7. You know what I'm saying? I think they should be somewhere around that. Maybe on a good season, they'll be beating the Cavs for 4th. So I will give them a little bit of grace for that. You know, the Magic had a lot of injuries. And so I think that that's more of the reason why they are 8th seed. Plus, you know, the 5th through 8th seed is only decided by 1 game. You know what I mean? So it just was a really tight competition in the Eastern Conference. But it's still you still getting embarrassed, bro. It's still the first. I don't give a fuck who you playing. It's still the first round. You shouldn't be getting bro.
Result is normal, but I also think the real story is more specific than that. Orlando aren't exposing the Pistons as fake. They're exposing the one thing Detroit never really fixed. Cade Cunningham does not have enough help. Game 4 basically told you the full story.
Orlando, even the fact that Cade got 60 wins this year and was hooping how he was hooping is very impressive, because when you look at this team, they sorry as hell. And it doesn't make no sense. Jalen Duren needs to move the fuck around. I'm not going to lie to you. He needs to go ahead somewhere. He's not going to fit with Cade, because Cade can shoot now. See, okay, the type of person I am, I'm a 2K guy. And I play 2K. I like playing my career from time to time, like the actual season my career. And I'm playing my career, and I was on the Pistons, and I was a shooting guard for the Pistons. And I'm like, bro, y'all suck. Can't none of y'all niggas shoot. Thompson, the twin, can't shoot. Duren can't shoot. Isaiah Stewart can't shoot. I think they got, who is that? I forgot what 55 name is. Tobias Harris, he can shoot a little bit, but he's a bench 4th option player. Like, he's not, he need a number 2, bro. If the Pistons had a Jalen Williams, a Jaylen Brown, you know what I'm saying, a Klay Thompson, somebody that could be his number 2 that can score with him, I feel like they'll be miles better than they are right now. But
shoots just 32.6% from the field and wins the game.
That's ridiculous.
That was the
That's ridiculous.
It's just 32.
They shot 32% from the field and won. But it's not because of Detroit's defense. Their defense is going to do this consistently. They just don't have no fucking scoring. Meanwhile, you look at the Magic, they got Paolo, they got Suggs, they got Wagner, they got the other Wagner, they got Anthony Black. Like, they got people that can put the ball on the floor, get to their spots, and score. Pick and rolls, pick and pops, pin downs, fucking floppies, nigga, catch and shoot, dribble pull-ups. Like, they have those players. Wendell Carter, like, they have those players.
6% from the field and wins the game. That was the 6th lowest field goal percentage by a winning team in a playoff game since 1958. I mean, Bill Russell was still in the league. That's how long ago we're talking. I mean, that simply has to be the ugly one that you pick up. Instead, Detroit scores 88 points. Shot 20% from 3 and turned the ball over 20 times.
Damn.
Cade Cunningham finishes with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. But he also turned the ball over 8 times.
No, see, this is one thing I hate about
6 assists.
The rules.
But he also
That's not my turnover, nigga. I passed him the ball.
So turned the ball over 8 times.
Butterfingers, why is that my turnover?
And shot 7 of 23 from the floor.
Why is that my turnover?
Turned the ball over 8 times and shot 7 of 23
from. How are you this big letting this little ass guard get the ball out your hand?
From the floor. Jalen Duren had 12 points, 8 boards, 4 giveaways, and 5 fouls. Duncan Robinson went just 1 of 6 from 3. Tobias Harris scored 20, but he shot 0 of 5 from 3. And the final 5 minutes of this game were particularly brutal. Before Beef Stew's meaningless putback at the buzzer, Detroit went 0 of 9 from the field in the final 5 minutes. They went 1 of 4 at the line. They turned the ball over 3 more times. And across the final 4:50 of the fourth quarter, both teams combined to shoot 2 of 18 from the field. So pretty much nobody could get a bucket. But Orlando survived it. Detroit did not. That is what makes this feel so bad. These are supposed to be Detroit's games. Ugly, physical, low-scoring dogfights where nobody can shoot. Every loose ball really matters. And Detroit gets to feel like the bad boy Pistons once again. That was their world all season long. They defended, they rebounded, they dominated the paint. They forced turnovers, and they flat out made teams uncomfortable. But the Orlando Magic have not been scared of any of it. They are not getting bullied. They're not backing down.
They got big bodies on the Magic, bro.
Now,
look at the Magic starting lineup, bro. Look at the Magic starting lineup and tell me who on this team can you bully? You can't bully these people. You can't bully Paolo, his big ass. You can't bully Wendell Carter, fucking 7 foot 280 or some shit. You can't bully Wagner. Neither one of the brothers. I think Mo might be injured. You can't bully Franz like that. You can't bully Desmond Bain, that big strong cock diesel looking motherfucker. You can't bully. These is big boys, folks. Like, you feel me? They not no frail, skinny nigga like me. They like real big. So it's just a bad matchup for Detroit, especially the way they currently constructed. Detroit has really good defense, and I feel like if this was any other team in the Eastern Conference right now, they'll probably be spanking them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll probably be spanking them, especially the Knicks, because the Knicks they just can't bang with you like Detroit, but the Magic can bang, and they long, they big, they tall, they lengthy, they play great defense just like Detroit. It's kind of like Detroit playing themselves, but the Magic got more scorers, though. They got more people that can get a bucket.
And when Franz Wagner had to leave the game with that calf injury, Jamal Cain stepped in, grabbed massive rebounds, drew a ton of fouls, threw down that ridiculous posterizer on Jalen Duren, and somehow Orlando were the team with more answers down the stretch. This was not the Magic running them out of the gym with beautiful offensive sets. For long stretches of the game, Orlando looked just as bad as the Pistons, and they shot 32.6% from the floor. However, they were the team that won the fight. That is why this matchup has become such a disaster. Normally, Detroit's physicality is the thing that makes you uncomfortable.
You got 2 big boys. You got 2 niggas just as big as Duren, guarding Duren. You got two niggas just as big as beef stew, garden beef stew. Like, they don't have an advantage.
They hit first. They get into the bodies. They protect the paint. Right. They win the possession.
Look at all these big ass niggas. Like, I'm not trying, but just outside of Jalen Suggs, bro, you got Paulo, Frowns, Wendell, and Bane. Look at them. Compared to on this side, you got Duncan Robinson, little skinny ass. If he not hitting shot, he's a 3-point specialist. So if he not hitting threes, he's his ass is grass. You got Tobias, who can get you 20 because he's strong enough. He's seasoned enough to get you 20. You got Cade that's gonna get you 20. And then you got Duran, who really is smaller than most of the people on the Magic side. And you got Thompson, who can't fucking shoot. So what is he gonna do?
Battle, and they force opponents into games that they don't want to play.
And outside of that, I'm sorry to pause it, but outside of that, you really only got Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris as shooting threats. So that means that anybody else on the floor, you can't drive because ain't nobody worried about Jalen Duren shooting the fucking ball. Nobody's worried about Thompson shooting the ball. You know what I'm saying? And then when you have a night like they had where Cade and Tobias ain't really shooting the best, and Duncan Robinson shooting like shit, it's like, what are they gonna do?
Where Orlando is different is how they also want to play that way. They're one of the only teams in the NBA that can actually meet Detroit where they live. They have the size, they've got length, they have physical guards, and they have plenty of bodies to throw at Cunningham.
Look at all these niggas. Look at all. Why are 3 niggas in the paint right now?
Got Wendell Carter Jr. making life really
hard. He just let him shoot.
Hard for Jalen Duren, and they've got Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner as big wings who can create offense through contact. And then they've got Desmond Bane, who has been massive in this series. In Game 3, he made 7 threes, and in Game 4, he backs it up with 22 points, hitting 5 threes, talking trash the entire game, and giving Orlando the one thing that Detroit doesn't have, another guy who can make a shot when everything gets ugly. That is where the matchup flips. If both teams are physical, both teams can defend, and both teams can turn the game into a grind, then this series stops becoming about who's going to be tougher. It becomes more about who has more offense when the easy stuff disappears. And right now, Orlando has more offense.
Way more.
That is why this doesn't feel like some random 1 versus 8 upset. It doesn't feel like that Milwaukee-Miami series a couple years ago where Jimmy Butler went nuclear, Duncan Robinson couldn't miss, and the Bucks were dealing with an injured Giannis. No, Orlando are taking Detroit's identity and saying, cool, we can do this as well.
We can score better.
Once they cancel out that physicality, Detroit's biggest flaw is sitting right there in the open. This is where the Pistons' regular season begins to look different. Detroit deserves respect for what they accomplished. You don't win 60 games by accident.
No, for
Cade Cunningham took a massive step forward. The defense was legitimate. The physicality was absolutely real. And the identity was real too. And to be completely fair, this wasn't some terrible offensive team all year. The Pistons ranked 10th in half-court offensive rating at a 118.3. So the problem wasn't that they were secretly bad. The problem is that playoff basketball really tests what kind of offense you actually have when the matchup gets ugly. In the regular season, you can kind of get away with it. You're able to defend, get out and run easier, you can force more turnovers.
But think about it too, that's why they say playoffs is different. In the regular season, look at the highlights. I didn't make the video, just look at the highlights. Who are they playing? The Jazz.
The matchup gets ugly. In the regular season, you can kind of get away with it. You're
without Tyrese. We know the Pacers was terrible this year.
Able to defend, get out and run easier. You can force more turnovers.
Wizards. All these highlights against bad teams. So when you playing, most of the time you playing bad teams, and you in the Eastern Conference, you playing bad teams. And then when you do play a good team like the Knicks, you can just out physical them and they gonna fold. When you play the Celtics, you could out physical them, and it'll kind of be, sometimes they might fold, sometimes they might not. But outside of that, you can't really out physical the Spurs or the Thunder. But the Detroit Pistons have everything the Thunder have when you really think about it. As far as the defense, the physicality, they just don't have a number 2 for Cade. They got Shea out there by himself, and they don't have nobody else stepping up. Now, all these players are in the NBA, so they're capable, but they have to be put in the right position. Like Amen, I don't know if it's Amen or Asar that's on the Pistons, but the twin that's on the Pistons, he can't shoot the best. But if you give him 2 or 3 shooters on the court, he can get his for sure, and he can go on the other side and stop the best player. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Duren, if you give him 2, 3 shooters on the court at the same time, he can get his because he got space. He'll probably be able to bully the other team's big 9 times out of 10. But then when you, like he said, when this is a perfect video for me to watch. Shout out to him. This is Basketball Reach on YouTube. But he's breaking it down perfectly. The Magic have everything that the Pistons have. So that cancels out. That means you can't out-physical them. So you can't do that. Now it's about who gonna score. Who gonna put up more points on this scoreboard. And it's always gonna be the Magic because they just don't have that firepower over there on the Pistons. So I think they're gonna get bounced out in the first round. If they somehow make it past the first round, I think, who do they play after this? They would play. Let me see who they play. If they somehow won, they would play either They would play either the would it be? No. It'd be the Raptors or the Cavs in the second round, and the Knicks would play Boston. So the Pistons would play the Raptors or the Cavs. I think they'll spank them. I think the Pistons, especially if they play the Cavs so damn soft. If the Pistons got past Orlando somehow, they'll spank them. But the crazy part is that I really want to say this, and I'm saying this on April 28th, 2026, the day I'm uploading this video. If the Raptors get past Pistons, they go into the conference finals. Because I don't see the Cavs with they soft ass beating the Magic, and I definitely don't see the Raptors. The Raptors might be a better matchup, actually, than the Cavs. But if the Magic play the Cavs, they go into the conference finals. They go into the conference finals, bro. So I think whoever wins between the Celtics and the Knicks, if the Celtics move forward, which they probably should, the Celtics will go. If the Knicks move fucking forward, that's what we need to be talking about. But if the Celtics and the Knicks end up, whoever wins that matchup will be in the finals.
You can really dominate the possession battle, and you can punish teams that weren't ready for your physicality.
I'm not even gonna say that really, because the Magic, the Magic might spank the Knicks too. The way they looking. They better, boy. Them teams better, they better wake up
on a given night. And this Pistons team, they did that for months. But in the playoffs, when a team gets to sit down and specifically game plan against you, they begin to know your actions. They start figuring out your counters. They attempt to load up on your best player. And when they do, you just have to have other guys who can run the offense. And that's something that this Pistons team really did not have. There has been these little bursts in these games where they start to look like their regular season version. They punch back, they play defense, they get out and run, and for a stretch you go, okay, here they are. This is the 60-win team. But they just cannot hold it. Once Detroit settles back down, once Cade sees bodies, once the ball has to move, Detroit has to manufacture offense from other guys who are just supposed to be finishers and connectors and not really true offensive initiators.
They're not supposed to be
right there is the difference between being a good regular season offense and having a playoff offense that you can legitimately trust. And this is where I do not want the wrong conversation to happen. This isn't about whether Cade Cunningham is good enough.
It's not about Cade.
Cade is the reason Detroit are even here in the first place. He is the engine.
But I don't think nobody's slandering Cade. But we've been saying this all season. If Cade in the playoffs, if Cade don't come out here and score fucking average 38, 10 and 3, 38 points, 10 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal or something like that, shooting 52% from the field, 42% from the three. If he not doing something like that every single night in the playoffs, they gonna get their ass spanked, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that they'll lose in 5. They'll probably win in Detroit, and I think they'll lose in 6. I don't see Detroit winning 3 games straight to get out of this series And I don't know, unless they go fucking, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Unless they goddamn it make some type of illegal trade or some shit, or unless they go get KD to play. I
Ultimately,
don't
the
see
guy
it, bro.
defenses are scared of.
Giannis would
And
be
that's
crazy
because
over there,
he
though.
can
I'm
get
not
to the
gonna lie.
mid-range, make reads, draw multiple defenders on the ball, and still find ways to score even with bad spacing. But in this series, he's just had to do way too much. And when one player is basically creating everything, the mistakes begin to pile up. Some of those turnovers are definitely on Cade. Absolutely. He had some passes in the last 2 games that just have to be better. But when every advantage has to come from one guy, the margin for error is just so tiny. Orlando knows that. So they just continue to squeeze him. Full court pressure, long defenders, helping at the nail, bodies everywhere, making the first pass really difficult, making the catch difficult, and just daring the next guy to beat them. That right there is not a Cade problem. It's a roster problem. Cade can be the best player in the series, and Detroit is still in trouble because being the best player is not the same thing as being able to carry every single offensive possession all by yourself.
Literally.
Especially when you don't have enough help. And when that happens, the rest of the roster gets exposed for what it really is. And that is why the trade deadline matters so much now. At the time, I understood the idea. Detroit valued Tobias Harris. They valued his veteran leadership. They valued stability, and they valued what he meant to a young team that was
the reason I say get somebody like Tobias out of there. If I could trade Tobias, if I could trade Duncan Robinson for, this is just a perfect world now. I'm not saying this is a possibility, but if I can get a Paolo, if I can get a Giannis, if I can get a wing to where it's like, okay, I'm the point guard, but I can run like a Cade and Giannis pick and roll is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you give them 2 or 3 other shooters around. Cade and Giannis is a problem. Cade and Paolo is a problem, right? Who else can I think about right now off the top of my head? I don't fucking know. Cade and Jokic. I think if you switch Jokic and Jamal Murray, I think that's like ridiculous. Cade needs somebody he can run a pick and roll with, bro. He needs somebody he can run a pick and roll with, and he also needs somebody he could be like, shit, nigga, I'm tired. Take the ball, do some dribble moves. You know, here Jalen Williams, here Kyrie Irving, here Jaylen Brown, here Jason Tatum, here Desmond Bane. Take the ball and just give me 15, give me 20. Now, if they can get that without moving Tobias Harris, then that makes it even better because Tobias is still a very capable scorer, but he's a 3rd, 4th option. He's not a 2nd option guy, you know? But the team, it's like they right there. They need some front office moves, and they right there. And I'm not a hater of Detroit at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Bulls fan, so I don't really particularly like the Pistons or nothing. But I like I like Cade. You know, I like the team they got over there. But they gotta make some change. If I'm them, I'm getting up off Duren. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He can't fucking shoot. Yeah, he can defend and he can do all that, and that's nice, bro. But this is a 20-10 guy, okay, for the season at least. And what's he averaging in? Like, bro, this nigga ain't scored 20 points. His highest scoring game this series is 12. He ain't even got 10 rebounds this series, bro. I'm getting up off, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I can go get me another big man. I'll get up off Duren and get Giannis or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying Giannis obviously because he's available right now, but you know, Asar Thompson, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Your ass need to be in the gym, nigga. You need to be in the gym, bro. I don't know what the fuck you got going on. You and your brother. Y'all need to shoot all summer, nigga. It look like y'all both getting, well, yeah. Your brother ain't getting out the first round. You probably ain't getting out the first round. Y'all need to go shoot, nigga. Y'all need to go, don't dribble, don't pass, don't lay the ball up all summer, nigga. Shoot the ball 10,000 times a day. That's what you need to fucking do. because y'all could go from where y'all at now. Like, what is Asar average this season? This is Asar, right? Asar is on the Pistons. Asar average for the year 9 points, 25% from the 3-point line. Last year it was 22%. So what the fuck? 2 steals, a block, only 1 turnover, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. If Asar can learn how to shoot and teams cannot just lay off of him, that man turns into it easily can be a 20-point per game scorer. Can easily be the second best player. Him and his brother can easily be the second best player on the championship team if they can just shoot, because they defend well, they drive well, they are great on-ball defenders. They're great help defenders. They're great decision makers. Right? He only averages a turnover a game. They're good decision makers. They're smart. They have a high basketball IQ, but neither one of these motherfuckers can shoot. And that's the problem. So y'all need to go shoot, okay? Other than that, Amen has been playing way better than his brother in all year, really. I mean, Amen is averaging 18, 7, 5, but he's shooting 21%. So if Amen can learn how to shoot, he can easily go from he's averaged 37 minutes this season, 18 points. If he takes his 3-point from 21% to at least 30%, he goes from 18 points to 25 points. He's an all-star and potentially a fucking MVP count. That's how close he is, bro. But y'all didn't need to learn how to shoot, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on in the Thompson family. I don't know. Maybe y'all ain't work on that in the shit, man.
Winning way faster than expected. But this is the playoffs. This is where your ceiling really matters. Right. This is where the difference between a good veteran and a legitimate second scorer starts to feel like a chasm. Just think about this for a second. If Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz was actually available, that is where all of this hurts even more. Because imagine this same Pistons team with Lauri at the 4 instead of Tobias. Now you've got more size against Paolo.
More size, better shooting. He can get his own bucket.
Shooting, a legit secondary option who can score without Cade spoon-feeding everything.
Exactly.
And the Magic wouldn't have been able to load up the same way on Cunningham and ask everybody else to beat them, because Lauri might have been able to. And yes, that's really easy to say now, but honestly, this was a concern coming into the playoffs. Detroit clearly did not have enough offense around Cade. That was the main talking point. That was why, even when they won 60 games, people still didn't fully trust this team. Personally, I had them going pretty deep. I had them making the conference finals. But I never thought that the offense around Cade was serious enough to go any further than that. And now Orlando has made that flaw impossible to ignore. Because this is the thing with young teams that arrive early. You can fall in love with the story, the chemistry, and you can tell yourself that this group is ready to compete now. And sometimes, that is true. But sometimes the playoffs tell you the truth before you're ready to hear it. But what's happening in Cleveland right now might be even worse than that. Because that was supposed to be a series that they were going to win very easily. But
the Cleveland might be worse. I'm not gonna lie. Cleveland might be worse. Because Cleveland has the Cleveland's team is fucking miles better than the Pistons when you look at it on paper and on the eye test. You got Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. They can both get you a bucket. Okay, they can both get you 20. You got Evan Mobley, who can go for 20 or 30 any night. You got Jared Allen, who can go for 20 and 10 every night or any night and then play defense, and Evan Mobley on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? It's players on that I can't even think about. I think they got Karis LeVert over there. I can't really think about their team outside of their starting 5, but they got a good team. They shouldn't be losing to the Raptors. But I just wanted to see what teams they lost to. And I'm trying to give me a list of every loss, all 22 games. So they lost 22 games. I'm trying to see what teams they lost to just go because in my head, I feel like all the teams they lost to outside of the one-offs, Hold on. I'm trying to find it. All right, so here's all 22 losses. They lost against the Magic. They lost against Boston. They lost against the Bucks. They lost against the Knicks. They lost against the Cavs, the 76ers, the Heat, the Clippers, the Rockets, the Suns, the Wizards. That's embarrassing. The Wizards, the Spurs again, the Cavaliers, the Suns, the Hawks, the Thunder. And then in April, they lost against Toronto, Orlando, Chicago, which I'm pretty sure this is when Cade was going, though. Indiana and Milwaukee. So I'm not really even going to count those. I'm just going to look at November through March. When you look at who they lost to, they are all physical teams. Talk about the Thunder. You talk about the Hawks. Talk about the Spurs, right? Spurs again. You talk about the Rockets, good defenders, physical. Clippers, not so much. The Heat, physical, dogs, right? The Celtics. So yeah, they just didn't have scoring. It's actually amazing that he got them to 60. Fuck, I don't know how he did that.